Hello, I don't know what my camera angle's looking like here because I've just got my little mini GoPro tonight. So, check this out. 97 Ultra RMK 680 triple. It's got one melted down cylinder there, the center piston's melted down. The cab's all cracked, the skis are wrecked, the windshield broke, the seat's rotten on it. Slides are totally wore down in the back. I need some bearings in the back. So yeah, it's pretty nice. It's got a sweet set of triple SLP or PSI aftermarket pipes and stinger, awesome. And it's got a relatively low miles for what it is. The clutches look like they're in good shape. So I bought it for junk blown up price. And we're going to see if we can make a machine out of it. So it's got this Veriflow system that's over there. It's like it's a dial. You can adjust. You can richen up, like lean out or richen up your fuel mixture in your car. So what I think is whoever had it was cranking that dial, making the sled work better and better until she melted down. So the center cylinder's got good compression on the two outsides. Maybe if I get this thing going good, maybe I'll change the two outer pistons too, just to be sure. The center cylinder melted the top right off the piston to the point where the ring groove in the top melted off and the top ring came off and it's wreaked havoc. The cylinder probably could be reused, but there's some bang marks where the chunks of ring came through. So you've got it in there with some sandpaper and a Dremel. I think you probably could clean up the cylinder and use it, but I found another cylinder, a used one there for cheap that's half decent. So tonight, I just want to get this thing running. Just listen to this thing run. Because after that, after I get it running, I got to pull out the car boots and inspect those and check the reeds. And the oil injection line, the line going to the oil pump, it's only held by a few strands, so I need a new throttle cable. Because the 3 cables, 1 cable goes to each carb. And there's a 4th cable for your oil pump. So I gotta do that. I noticed the choke adjusted way too tight. They only go half choke and the chokes are full wide open. So I'm gonna put the new piston in the cylinder, fill it with coolant, put the exhaust on, adjust the choke cables, just get it going good enough. Tonight I just want to hear it run. And then we'll go from there. So I got a lot of work ahead of me here. Oh yeah, I start work tomorrow. My first day back at work is tomorrow. So I got to get up early, so I guess I can't be here all night. But my goal is, hopefully, I can just hear this thing running tonight. That's the goal. Okay, these are called the Fuji Big Block. They make a 600, a 680, a 700, and then they make the 800 with the variable exhaust, like my XCR 800. When you get a good one, they're good. When you get a bad one, I guess everything else, they're trouble, but they're generally a pretty tough motor. But there's a piston. She's all black, like just black. And see that? It melted the top ring groove right off. Major meltdowns. Man, when I was here yesterday, I was trying to get the wrist pin out of the wrist pin clip out of that piston, and it was dark. I was trying to shine my light on it, and then I realized I got a new headlight from my parents for Christmas. So today I came out with my new headlight, and it's awesome. So here you go. Got that all cleaned up. That's just some residue there. Got that all nice and clean. The crank, like the bottom end, like my poor old XCR 800 there, you can see there's like spots like this front corner here in there is a bit dinged up on the bottom, and that little thin part here looks a little kind of dinged up, and some of the cylinders is kind of evidence of some foul play, but this one all looks really nice. The crank looks really nice. So I cleaned the gasket surface up, blew it, I had a rag around all that and just cleaned this up. And I blew it out with compressed air, pulled the rag out, blew the inside of the compressed air, took the plug out of the base, right there, took the plug out, put gas in it, cranked it over, put more gas in it, cranked it over, and then I put about a 2-stroke oil in it, right, coursed them right down the bearing holes there and in the bottom. Let a bit of excess drain out, put the plug back in, so now the bottom end, she's all lubed up and cleaned up, ready for a base gasket and cylinder.
So your needle bearing, Polaris uses a cage bearing. Like, so all the needles are in a cage, the bearings. You just stick the bearing in and put your pin through. But some brands do not. They're all individual needles. So when you pull it apart, if you don't know, all the needles will fall into the bottom end. And what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to grease the new needles, put them all in around your connecting rod, and work the pin through. I don't know why that exists, but it does. But for those brands, you can buy cage bearings for them. But Polaris doesn't have that, but just in case you're taking a snowmobile apart, just be cautious of that. So you see in your rings, here we go. Can you see the little locating pin there? Right there in the ring opening? And one there. So, you see, I don't know why on these they put the arrows to the side. But don't really worry about the marking. What you want the locating pins to the back. So put your ring opening to the intake side, to the intake side. If you put your piston on backwards, it'll fit on and go together and start, but your ends of your rings will catch the exhaust port and break your rings. And some pistons are known to these pins will push in and your ring will eventually work its way around and catch the exhaust port. Happened to me once on a 700, just like this. So there we go. To put the cylinder on, the bottom of the cylinder is a bit chamfered, so you don't need no ring compressor tool. You just get in there, you squeeze it with your fingers, and you work the cylinder on, you wiggle it on, and carefully just put her on by hand. Put lots of oil on this and on your cylinder, lube everything up real good, and take your time and be careful and slide her together. If you want to get super technical, you can take your new rings, and you just take your piston, you just shove the ring in a ways. You can check on top and bottom, and then you check your ring gap here. You can use the feeler gauge to check the gap, but this one here, there's quite a gap there. I'm not worried about that too much, but technically there is a ring gap spec, and you get a little file and file your ring gap here so your ring's not too tight. So it's something to note. Okay, so you're putting the cylinder down, and you're essentially aim good, I think we're aim good, okay. So we're essentially, we're squashing a new gasket for the first time, so you want to be pretty diligent. So, I just hand thread the cylinder nuts on all the way, then I'll take the wrench and I'll tighten one corner down just till it touches, and I'll take another corner until it touches, and then cross corner 4 corners, then I'll go to another corner, and I'll just snug it a bit, cross corner, snug it, snug it, snug it. Slowly snug it, so you just want that to squash even and come down nice and straight. And then now, with the torque wrench, I'm going to give this sucker 27 foot-pounds. Full disclosure, you know, I've worked with quite a bit of this stuff over the years, and there's been times where I didn't have the right torque wrench, or you know, it's in a tight spot where you can't get the torque wrench in, so I just tighten things up just with the flat wrench, just by feel, and no torque spec, and I've never had a problem. Honestly, I guess if you can do it right, why not do it right? But I don't get as bent out of shape about stuff like that as some people do. Really, I don't know. I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying to do it, I'm just saying I've had decent luck in the past putting units together without having torque specs or torque wrenches. Huh? 27 is more than you think. Really? I wish I had a shorter U-joint. The U-joint I was using back home on my 800 was nice. I just bought this one, it's just a Mastercraft one. Huh. Come on, buddy. Oh, there we go. 27. Alright, that's a pretty mild click on this thing. Cool. Brand new torque wrench. Bought it just for this job, you know? YouTube official. I wouldn't want to be doing the sketchy shit I normally do. Public on air, you know. Gotta try to at least look half professional.
Okay, so let's run over it one more time. I'm at 27 here. I think the spec is 24 to 27 or something like that. I'll have to grab my paper and get the spec for the head bolts here too. These engines don't use a head gasket, they just use an O-ring in the head. Boy. Okay, 27 foot-pounds installed. There's the head, there's 2 locating pins. So the head, you put your O-ring in. You should put some greasers up on the O-ring. I didn't have any, so I just put some 2-stroke oil on it. You line up your locating pins. Anyways, put your bolts in, you torque it the same way, and I'm going 20 foot-pounds on that. And you just use the crisscross pattern like you would torque anything. It goes around the top of your head here, there's an O-ring groove there, and there's a big O-ring that goes here. And you put the cover on, and that gets torqued to 20 foot-pounds as well. Okay, this motor's all buttoned up here. These are the chokes. My phone's ready to die here, so. These are your chokes. See these? And they go into your carb right here, on the side of your carb, all 3. Your chokes go in, and here's your choke lever. But they're set up all screwy. They're not even, and they're set up, so you should be able to flip that all the way up for full choke, and that's half choke, and that's off. Now you go half choke and just a little bit more, and they're right tight. So I'm going to synchronize them all so that they're all the way up when the choke lever's all the way up. And then I'm going to put it back together. Got to put coolant in it, put the plugs back in, put the pipes on, and then we'll do a first fire up. When you're filling the coolant system on this, here's your water pump. So I got to hook my hoses up still, but you hook your hoses up. There's a bleeder screw down just below this filler line here. So I usually crack that, fill it until it starts coming out. Put the screw back in. Then on the newer model like the XCRs, there'll be a thermostat housing right here with a bleeder screw in it. So I'll crack that and this till it starts coming out there. Crank that bleeder screw, fill it, and you'll hear it hissing and filling the cylinders up until it starts boiling out of this bleeder screw. And you crank that one tight. And then once you do that, they're usually pretty good. I usually run it a bit with the cap off, and run it a bit and take the cap off and just make sure it's circulating. But with those bleeder screws, it usually gets the air out of them pretty good. So that's a big improvement over like the old XLTs and that. Like this side here, the water pump runs as a big steel gear right on the crank. It's about 3/8 of an inch thick. And the water pump bolts directly to that steel gear, and it's gear drive. And there's a coolant rail across the front, and it goes up the front of the cylinders, and it circulates through your whole engine. On those old like XLTs and that, there's a monoblock head, and the water came in the cylinder like here and out here. And it just had a little V-belt on the crank behind the rewind. They just had a little V-belt water pump on the side here. And there's kind of a failure point for those XLTs. You still got lots of miles out of them, but if anything's going to fail with kind of those water pumps, they were not as heavily built as these. These are a very heavily built engine. Even the cranks, the connector rods, and like they're just so much heavier built of an engine than those old XLTs. Like if you're building something for performance, go with a big block. Don't worry about popping up an XLT. They were never built for that. Holy crap! I did all that, and the camera wasn't even rolling. Dang it. Anyways, I don't even know where I left off. I was talking. It's running, but the center cylinder looks like someone was having trouble before. When you pull the lines off and you pull the cord, 2 outside cylinders just splooge gas, and the center one just trickles. And you can tell someone was playing with this before because the center cylinder right now, they got a clear line on it so you can monitor the level. When you rev it up, you can see the fuel level going down. So I might have to pull the fuel pump apart. Maybe need the kit or there's something blocked, but I think that's why it blew up. There was a fuel pump failure and it failed to give fuel to the center cylinder. I don't know if I said all this before, but this top O-ring is leaking. The aftermarket O-ring, it seemed a bit skinnier than the stock one. Usually those O-rings kind of snap on. That one sat on easy, so I knew there was a problem. So either just got to put the other O-ring back on or silicone this one. And other than that, I'm going to start it up. Sometimes you might hear it sounds a little boggy until it revs up. And that's because I got the VeriFlow system unhooked, disconnected. It's an aftermarket system that's on it. So it's just running really rich right now, that's all. Yeah, man. There you go. So it's more I gotta pop the top off, drain the coolant down a bit, get that sealed up. I gotta diagnose this fuel pump issue. I might have to maybe put a kit in the fuel pump, maybe there's a blockage, or I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna pull the pipes off, service the chain case, put the air box, everything back on, and I'm gonna hook up the VeriFlow system, and I'll go through that with you and kind of explain how I think it works. And frig, yeah, so exciting, man. Cool. So I'll get this video up, and not sure the next video is going to be, but Ultra RMK triple PSI pipes, very cool.